Are Iran and Israel secretly friends? This question might strike you as unconventional, even outrageous. Yet it's a query ringing in the ears of political enthusiasts worldwide. It's a seemingly impossible proposition, considering the historical tensions that have long defined the relationship between these two nations. But what if there's more than meets the eye? What if, beneath the surface, hidden alliances are being formed? As unthinkable as it may seem, let's explore why such a question is being asked. Historically, Iran and Israel have been more foes than friends. This statement rings true when we delve into the past of these two nations. The history of Iran-Israel relations is a tale of intrigue, conflict, and deep-seated animosity. It wasn't always this way, though. In the mid-20th century, Iran and Israel shared a cordial relationship, with Iran being one of the first Muslim-majority countries to recognize Israel's sovereignty. However, this amicable relationship took a drastic turn with the Islamic Revolution in Iran in the late 1970s. The Islamic Revolution marked a paradigm shift in Iran's political landscape, and the new leadership openly denounced Israel, calling it an illegal state. This sparked the beginning of a long-standing conflict and diplomatic tensions between the two nations. Under the new regime, Iran severed ties with Israel and began supporting groups that opposed Israeli interests. The 80s and 90s saw a series of proxy wars and conflicts fueled by the Iran-Israel hostility. The most notable among these was Iran's alleged support for Hezbollah during the Lebanese civil war, and Israel's backing of Iranian opposition groups. The new millennium didn't bring much change to this fraught relationship. The public animosity between the two nations intensified with inflammatory rhetoric frequently exchanged by their leaders. Iran's nuclear ambitions and Israel's opposition to it further strained the already taut relations. In recent years, tensions have escalated to unprecedented levels. The covert operations allegedly carried out by both nations against each other have only served to stir the pot of this volatile situation. Allegations of cyber attacks, assassinations, and sabotage have become common in this high-stakes game of cat and mouse. Given this tense history, it would seem unlikely for the two nations to be friends. But let's not jump to conclusions yet. Now, why would anyone think that Iran and Israel are secretly friends? It sounds like a wild theory, doesn't it? However, some intriguing arguments and instances suggest a potential secret friendship between these two nations. First off, let's consider the realm of strategic interests. Iran and Israel, despite their public animosity, share some common enemies. For example, both nations have been wary of the growing influence of ISIS and other extremist groups in the Middle East. This mutual concern could potentially lead to covert alliances or at least a mutual understanding. Then there's the issue of regional balance. The Middle East, as we all know, is a hotbed of geopolitical tensions. Striking a balance of power is crucial for any nation's survival, and sometimes that means aligning with unexpected allies. Israel and Iran, being two of the region's most powerful countries, may find it strategically beneficial to maintain a secret rapport, even if just to keep each other's actions in check. There are also instances of cooperation that seem to hint at a secret friendship. Take, for instance, the Iran-Contra affair in the 1980s. This was a political scandal where the US facilitated arms sales to Iran, a country it had an arms embargo against. While Israel wasn't directly involved, it was reported to have played a key role in the early stages of this affair. This suggests a level of cooperation between Iran and Israel that belies their public discord. Finally, there's the concept of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. This ancient proverb might well apply to the relationship between Iran and Israel. Both nations have a common adversary in certain regional powers, and this shared antagonism might foster a clandestine camaraderie, one that remains hidden from the public eye. While these arguments are compelling, they are not without counter-arguments. Let's explore those next. Not everyone is convinced that Iran and Israel are secretly friends. Indeed, there are considerable arguments against this theory, and they are worth exploring. Firstly, the continued conflicts between the two nations serve as a stark counterpoint to the idea of a covert alliance. The two countries have been embroiled in a series of confrontations both directly and indirectly for decades. These conflicts have been characterized by military skirmishes, cyber attacks, and accusations of nuclear ambitions. It's challenging to reconcile the intensity and longevity of these conflicts with the theory of a secret friendship. Secondly, the stark disagreements on key issues further dispute the notion of a clandestine camaraderie. Iran and Israel have long held diametrically opposed viewpoints on a variety of matters, from nuclear proliferation to the rights and statehood of the Palestinian people. These disagreements are not minor quibbles, but rather deep-seated ideological differences that have fueled tensions for years. Moreover, the lack of trust between the two nations is palpable. Trust, as we know, is a fundamental cornerstone of any friendship, secret or not. Yet the mutual suspicion and mistrust between Iran and Israel appear to be more profound than any underlying bond of secret friendship could possibly overcome. Finally, the public statements and actions of the two nations often suggest anything but friendship. Iranian leaders have repeatedly called for the destruction of the Israeli state, while Israeli officials have consistently labeled Iran as a significant threat to their nation and the wider region. These public declarations, coupled with their respective actions, paint a picture of enmity rather than secret friendship. The arguments against the theory of a secret friendship between Iran and Israel are compelling and numerous. They paint a picture of two nations locked in a cycle of conflict, mistrust, and ideological disagreement. There is little room in this narrative for a secret friendship, no matter how intriguing the theory might be. So, while there are arguments for and against, the question remains unanswered. Are Iran and Israel secretly friends? The jury is still out. We've delved into the historical tensions and examined the cases for and against secret friendship. The labyrinth of international relations is complex, often cloaked in ambiguity, making it difficult to arrive at a conclusive answer. The intricacies of their relationship, whether veiled in friendship or rivalry, are far-reaching. Whether they are secretly friends or not, one thing is clear: Iran and Israel will continue to be key players in the Middle East, their actions and relations affecting the region and beyond.